So it's important that you understand what facial bloating is. So the reason that your face looks bloated is because of, so there are 3 incredibly effective methods to remove facial bloating. And these 3 methods are the only 3 methods you need to do. So the first one, there's a muscle above your eyebrows called the frontalis muscle. And this muscle raises the eyebrows. If you overactivate this muscle consistently, it increases it is crucial for you. And this goes back to what I mentioned about the gap between the nose tip and the upper lip. If you can imagine the aim to be... Alright, welcome back guys. This is a highly detailed facial analysis for a client who was happy for me to share this. I start by revealing his current rating out of 10, and then go over his most relevant facial features, which I've decided upon after a detailed analysis of over 80 different aspects of the face, including his craniofacial proportions and health indicators. I then outline a step-by-step Looksmaxxing plan, which shows him change by change exactly how he can reach his realistic true potential. And I use Photoshop to help you see these changes firsthand. These changes are designed to correct, conceal, and balance his specific facial flaws. I will finally show you his realistic true potential at the end, and share what his potential rating out of 10 could be after following this advice. Alright, let's get into it. So currently you're a 5.25, which puts you slightly above average. Average on my scale is about 4.75, and you're in the low tier appeal bracket. So starting with your nose, this stands out as a minor flaw to me, and I'll tell you exactly why. So the width should be about 65 to 70% of the height. In your case, the width is about 82%, and you might be thinking, okay, well, the nose is too wide, but in reality, it's the height that's too small. If we look at the nose width in comparison to the width of the face, the nose fits into the ideal range between 1 to 3.7 to 1 to 3.9. So that's fine. There is a slightly noticeable deviation, but 80% of people have septum deviation, and subconsciously people will turn or rotate to counteract the deviation. They don't even realize they do this. So it's not a big deal at all. Majority of people have it. If we look at your philtrum to chin ratio, it's about 1 to 2.3. Ideally 1 to 2.5 to 1 to 3, with an emphasis on a shorter philtrum rather than a taller chin. Your chin is fine, philtrum is fine. It could be slightly smaller, and this is not by bringing the upper lip up, it would be by bringing the nose down or reducing the perception of this gap, which I will tell you exactly how to do. Because if we look at your mid-face ratio, when I did this initially, I got it pixel perfect to 1 to 1, which is a perfect ratio. So your face is very compact, which is really good. The slight problem is your facial features look too centered for your face. So your face as a whole looks slightly too big. And this is because of your temple exposure. So the temple width should be about 2/3 of the eye width from canthus to canthus. In your case, your temples are about 1.15 times larger than your eyes. And I did an average, of course, because I can appreciate that you're looking at the camera at a slight angle. When it comes to facial proportions, it's all about perception, and you can warp this perception. The way I go about changes is you can either correct a flaw or conceal a flaw or balance perception of the flaw. In your case, you have a perfectly compact face, but this larger outer region of the face makes it look overly compact. So I'll get into how you can reduce this perception when I show you the changes momentarily. So if we look at your facial definition here, it's quite minimal. What you want to be seeing is a defined, sharp, trapezium-like shape in the lower third, and you have more of a rounded, squashed appearance here. So if you look at your eye region, your eye height to width ratio is good at about 1 to 3. However, the ideal range is about 1 to 3.65 or 1 to 3.75. I'll get into how you can move closer to the ideal range when I show the changes. Your eye spacing is perfect with about one eye. You have a pinched oval shape, which is perfect. However, your eyes don't look very deep set. This is due to a few things. One of them is the upper eyelid exposure, which I'll get into how you can reduce this, and the lack of hooding, as well as negative hooding here as well, which is a small flaw, which I'll tell you how to correct. So you have no scleral show, which is perfect. The whites of your eyes are healthy looking, You appear to have Ego Sal, which is a nice bonus. There's a lot of people that try and mimic this look. A popular model that has this is Chico Lachowski. It adds additional character to the face. So I do notice that you have what appears to be milia or milk spots. This is unappealing by definition. Not saying that it's gross by any means, I'm just saying by definition it's unappealing. The dark eye circles that you have are minimal, but the problem with dark eye circles in your specific case is that this will reduce the perceived distance between the eye and the upper lip, making your face look more compact, which is not good because it's already perfect, and any more on top of the, as mentioned, overly compact look that you have is going to bring down your appeal quite significantly. More on the plus side, you appear to have a subtle limbal ring, which is a nice bonus. It is subtle though, and positive canthal tilt, which is always a good bonus as well. So your eyebrows are another flaw. They lack density, and the tone is not anywhere near the tone of the hair, which is what you want to be going for. In terms of the vertical height, they're too thick. You want to be aiming between the sweet spot of thick and thin. In your case, these eyebrows look slightly sluggish, and they have an arched shape, which makes you look concerned, worried, less confident. And the length is near perfect. However, the ideal width of the eyebrows is 2 times the width of the eyeball. In your case, it's about 47%, which is near perfect. And the reason why you haven't reached that 50% is the medial region of this eyebrow is slightly too short. You want to have eyebrows that pass the medial canthi slightly. So in terms of facial fat and facial bloating, your face appears to be bloated, and also there appears to be a slight excess of facial fat. Very minimal, but it is there. And I'll get into exactly how you can reduce this. And what this is going to do is going to help to reduce the facial width, which is what we need to do, and also increase the definition of the cheekbones, because your cheekbones are high set, which is really good, but there's no definition here. So debloating and reducing body fat is going to help to also increase the definition of your face, which is another flaw that you have. So there's a lot of good with your hair. Your hair looks thick, it looks light in terms of weight, soft, has a healthy shine. However, you have the typical boring short back and sides haircut. So this makes you blend in with everybody else. And also I noticed a little bit of graying as well of the hair, which is not ideal. As for your skin in general, very good. I would say that there are 2 types of tan. You have the carotenoid and the melanin. In your case, you have a great melanin tan, but your carotenoid tan is lacking. And there are some very small signs of premature aging, but they're minimal. So let's look at the mouth region. So the lower lip is slightly too large in comparison to the upper lip. However, the shape of the mouth is ideal. You want to be having this sort of heart shape with a visible philtrum dip. Yours is slightly visible, but that's a plus side for the mouth region. So let's look at your facial thirds. So as you can see, the upper and lower facial thirds are balanced, but the middle facial third is too small in comparison to the others. And this is because of the slightly short nose. So the forehead is slightly too tall for the face. And I'll get into exactly what you can do to reduce the perception of this height. And it will tie into reducing the perceived width of the temples. So it's like a 2-in-1. So your facial height to width is about 1.95, which means the face is slightly too wide in comparison to the other proportions. The ideal range is 1.75 to 1.85. So debloating and reducing body fat will really help to balance out this face width. Okay, so let's get straight into the changes. So as you can see, there's a large increase in health perception. We've increased the carotenoid tan, reduced the dark eye circles, removed the milia from under the eyes, reduced the bloating and the facial fat, which gives more definition in the lower third and the cheekbones, and reduces the facial width slightly. Oh, and also increase the whites of the eyes slightly. So to exactly how you can do this. For the eyes, you want to use eye drops, consistent sleep, so you're waking up and going to sleep at the exact same time every single day for at least a month. You want to be reducing strain on the eyes from blue light and avoid caffeine completely for these dark eye circles. So it's important that you understand what facial bloating is. So the reason that your face looks bloated is because of water retention and increased facial fat. So for the water retention, the first thing is an excess of sodium, which increases the water retention in the soft tissue. And this water is stored in the face, making it appear more puffy and bloated. The second thing is an excess of carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are stored as glycogen in the body. And for every gram of glycogen, it's stored with 3 grams of water. So you can imagine if you have an excess of glycogen, all of the excess water as well, that's gonna be stored with it. So there are 3 incredibly effective methods to remove facial bloating. And these 3 methods are the only 3 methods you need to do. So the first one is cutting out salt. Now salt has an incredibly sodium dominant electrolyte profile. The second thing is increasing potassium intake. Potassium has the opposite effect of sodium, and it helps to excrete the sodium from the body. Now what you can do is drink coconut water daily. Not only are you getting a more balanced electrolyte profile, but you're also increasing that potassium intake. The last thing you can do is to significantly reduce or cut out completely carbs from your diet. The glycogen stores will deplete and your body will flush them out. And you can do this by doing the carnivore diet. Facial bloating and facial fat correction is a hidden unknown gem of the carnivore diet that not many people talk about. It's sort of a double whammy. You're going to reduce excess body fat and you're going to reduce bloating significantly. You want to be in that 10 to 12% range for body fat. Anything more, you're going to be moving away from that golden zone of appeal. Anything below 10% as well, your appeal will start to decrease significantly. So the next change is hair. So this hairstyle I believe is perfect for the issues that we have with the face. As you can see, it reduces the perception of the height of the forehead slightly by removing this box shape and bringing the corners down like this. And it also covers the temples, which are excessively wide for the face. So this is going to reduce the hyper compacted look of the face. Grow the hair out. So this length will probably take you around 7 to 8 months from your current length. And also you should consider dyeing the hair to a similar color and tone to conceal the gray coloring of the hair. So there are a few more changes that I want to get into, but already there's a huge increase in appeal. So the next thing is the eye region. So as you can see, the eyebrows have more density. The color more closely matches the color of the hair. The arch of the eyebrows has been reduced. The medial length of the eyebrows has increased. The upper eyelid exposure has been reduced, making the eyes look more deep set. So to exactly how you can do this, you mentioned that you've already tried minoxidil. You may want to consider a growth serum. You want to also use a razor to shape the eyebrows like you see here, reducing the height, reducing the arch. But the main thing is the dye, because as you see, you have a patch of dark colored hair and then light colored hair. So balancing this out, and it makes the eyebrows appear a lot more dense. You can also try castor oil, which contains ricinoleic acid and vitamin E, which help to promote hair growth. So if you didn't already know, there's a muscle above your eyebrows called the frontalis muscle, and this muscle raises the eyebrows. If you overactivate this muscle consistently, it increases the tension and tightness in this muscle and pulls the soft tissue up. It can cause asymmetry above the eye. The trigger point for the frontalis muscle is just above the eyebrows. So applying pressure, self-massage will help to reduce this tension. But the main thing is just avoiding raising your eyebrows. What you can also do to increase soft tissue above the eye, giving better hooding and less negative hooding. Firstly, eyelid pulling on the medial aspect of the eye to reduce the negative hooding, but also training the corrugator supercilii muscle, which is the muscle that sits underneath the eyebrow and is responsible for the downward and inward movement of the eyebrow. So hypertrophy of this muscle is what you want to be aiming for. And you can achieve this by forceful frowning of the eyebrows. You push against this force to help activate this muscle. You can also use a filler as well, and this will help to reduce the upper eyelid exposure if you want instant results. So finally, increasing the density and darkness of the facial hair is crucial for you. And this goes back to what I mentioned about the gap between the nose tip and the upper lip. If you can imagine the aim to be closing the gap, which will increase the perceived length of the middle third, and it's going to balance the overly compact perception of the face without needing to bring the upper lip up or bring the nose down. You mentioned specifically that you wanted to receive surgical advice. I really don't think you need any surgery. If you're seriously looking to get something, a rhinoplasty for short noses could be an option for you to bring the nose down. So if we compare your potential to where you're currently at, massive difference. So let's look at the results. So your final rating, I give at least a 7.25 out of 10. And this puts you in the high to God tier appeal bracket. So you have a lot of potential if you make these intentional changes. So guys, thanks a lot for the recent support and all the new subscribers. It means a lot. And if you're not already subscribed, then feel free to subscribe to see more content like this to help you increase your appeal. All right, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.